All right, so I have very quickly, because I've got to put my little one to bed, but I have very quickly twisted my wing to come back because I just want to talk about this one I think it's an email. Um, Colleen Hoover sends this to Anne Giannetti and Josh Greenstein from Sony. And it just gave me something to think about. So this is dated the 14th of July, 2024. Okay, Josh and Ange. I thought it would be better to get my thoughts out in an email to both of you. First and foremost, I'm excited for the movie and all that comes with it, and I'm extremely grateful for all that has gone into it. In no way do I want to deny support for this film, especially after being invited by Blake to have a small hand in seeing it through. I will say that I'm concerned about everything happening behind the scenes and the positions I've been put in, which is why I feel much more comfortable having this conversation over email. And you mentioned the book in our brief convo before I got cut off, but I want to make clear that my publisher pulled his book. I'm not sure if I've already read this before, but I've just got some additional thoughts to it if I have. If not, then here I am reading it. I'm not sure what anyone heard or was told, but based on some unhappy text I received from Justin's agent, they're assuming that I had the book pulled, and I don't want there to be any confusion. I did not request they pull it. In fact, I had already approved it. But after seeing the file that went to print was not at all the file they sent to me for approval, not even close, I let my publisher know I would not be promoting it as I felt lied to regarding what the content was supposed to be. What they did after that was their choice, but I know there's some misinformation out there, so I hope you understand when I ask that any future communication from this point forward regarding this movie go through email. It isn't personal, I promise. It's just to protect myself in these sticky situations of he said, she said. It's an interesting turn of phrase, isn't it? We've got a situation here where Blake Lively is, and she's supporting Blake Lively, is saying, I was sexually harassed. I experienced a toxic work environment. Justin Baldwin is saying, I didn't do any of that, and she tried to steal the film from me. And Colleen Hoover is referring to that as he said, she said. We continue. As for the premiere, I feel like I've been asked to make huge decisions, and I'm honestly not comfortable with it anymore. In a way, I feel like a scapegoat, as though I'm being used as an excuse for anyone having to deliver unfavourable news to Wayfarer. I have felt backed into a corner more than once with the choices I've been asked to make. Who's asking her to make choices? Lively, maybe? Anyway, we keep going. Am I going to be comfortable if Justin is there? No. Things are beyond uncomfortable at this point, but my comfort isn't my priority. I'm used to being neutral, but this is a situation that has required some firm decisions on everyone's part, and I don't like upsetting people or choosing sides. Can I promise I'll go if he and his team are all there? I can't promise that. I go back and forth every day between continuing to show up for this movie or going into hiding because it's all causing me anxiety and bringing attention that I'm not prepared for or used to. Of course, in a perfect world, we'd set it all aside and everyone would smile for the cameras, but feelings have been hurt and boundaries have been crossed. I can see where Blake is coming from if she chooses not to attend. And this is the important part. Listen carefully. Because if I were in her shoes, I'm not so sure I would be able to stomach seeing someone else accept credit and accolades for what was also a huge, massive effort on her part, and having to share what should be a celebratory moment with people you absolutely can't celebrate. So can I just ask a question here? She understands where Blake is coming from if Blake chooses not to go to the premiere, not because Blake has been sexually harassed, but because Blake put in a lot of work in this movie, and why should she have to share the credit? These are Colleen Hoover's own words right here. Nothing about sexual harassment. It's all about, oh, she put in all this work. And I would feel the same if I had to share credit. Based on what I've seen and know, I would personally choose to support her that night in whatever her decision ends up being. What I don't want is Sony's decision or Justin's attendance or lack thereof to be placed solely on my shoulders, and I definitely don't want to be a scapegoat. I don't know what else to add. I do hope to see you guys at the premiere, but if that ends up not happening for any reason, please know that I will only ever have positive things to say publicly. And she had to say publicly because, if I remind you guys, there was a text message exchange between Blake Lively and I think it was definitely Blake Lively and Colleen Hoover. I can't remember if Taryn Fisher was in that one or not. Colleen Hoover is referring to nearly clocking someone if she'd been face to face with her. She is talking about Ange Giannetti. So privately, she has talked shit about Ange Giannetti. So, or she's had to say, I'll only say things about you that are positive publicly. Aside from the issues at hand, it really has been a wonderful experience, has it? You're part of a film where the director and male lead star was harassing all the women on set. And you guys did the book such justice. I'm forever and truly grateful for that. Thanks for understanding, Colleen Hoover. So, what this tells me is that there is still no evidence of sexual harassment. Blake Lively doesn't appear to be talking about it until her complaint. Sony, WME, they don't seem to be talking about it. The intimacy coordinator is not talking about it. Aside from Jenny Slate, none of the co-stars are. But even Colleen Hoover is not voicing any support for Blake because she's been sexually harassed. It's because Justin Baldoni might have the audacity to take credit for her work. The work she forced on everyone. The work she threatened everyone with something. Like, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to let you, my friend Taylor Swift, give you her song. So Colleen Hoover is standing 10 toes down with Blake Lively here to Sony over her extortion and has said nothing at all in this email, which is basically supporting Blake Lively's stance that she doesn't want Justin Baldoni to go to his own premiere. She said it is not for any reason related to sexual harassment. Just think about that.